Debjani. Debjani, could you please introduce yourself to ma'am?
Please do not take much time. Huh? If one is not available, then you go to the next one.
Okay, sir. I think Debjani dropped out of the call. Ingwama, could you introduce yourself to ma'am?
Yes. Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, sir. My name is Ingwama Kiwa. I have completed clinical psychology from City University, and currently I'm pursuing my PhD from Mizoram University, and I joined this course in order to learn the qualitative methods since I'm using one of the techniques of, I'm using mixed methods, so I'm using one of the techniques of qualitative methods. So I'm here to learn that. Thank you.
Next up is Madhu. Madhu, could you please introduce yourself?
Good evening, ma'am and everyone. My name is Madhu Giri. I have completed my MPhil in clinical psychology from Gautam Buddha University. Now I am pursuing PhD in psychology from Christ Delhi NCR campus. And my objective to join this course was to understand qualitative research in detail and basically have hands-on experience in using various tools, techniques, and best practices of qualitative research methodology. Thank you, ma'am.
Monalisa.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. I am Monalisa Patnaik. Currently, I am pursuing my full-time PhD at KL University in business management, marketing management subject. My research is in AI tools usage. So I want to learn the qualitative research method from this course. Eager to learn more from this course.
Okay, thank you, Monalisha. Next, Shara.
Next is Naveen.
Definitely, I will apply.
Okay, Monalisha, thank you.
Research methodologies, research work. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Yes, Naveen, please go ahead.
Good evening. My name is Naveen. I just completed my master's in psychology. And I joined this course to understand how the research methodology work. And I thought this will be helpful for my studies in the future. Thank you.
Next up is Reena.
Good evening, sir, and good evening, madam. Myself, Reena Dotto, clinical instructor from NRS Nursing College. I am a PhD scholar from the Manipur International University, part-time. And I want to know in details the qualitative research study because I do not have any idea how that in-depth interview technique, interpretation of the result by which we can do that. So for details and updating my knowledge regarding the qualitative study, I am joining this session.
Next up, we have Subrata. Subrata Dalal.
Maybe not available. Shumona is there. Shumona came. Shumona Shaha, please.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir. Good evening, ma'am. I'm Shumona Shaha from College of Nursing, Archikor Medical College and Hospital. Presently, I'm a part-time PhD scholar under West Bengal University of Health Sciences. And for an in-depth knowledge and hands-on experience on qualitative research technique, I joined this class. Thank you.
Okay, thank you all. So now it is my opportunity to say few words about my beloved student, Professor Anurupa Kundu. Professor Kundu is an assistant professor in psychology in Department of Psychology, Faculty of Arts and Social Studies, St. Xavier's University, Kolkata. She has completed her PhD in psychology from Indian Statistical Institute, Kolkata. As ISI GRF of SRF, she has more than 4 years of teaching experiences and worked with leading private universities like Amity University, Kolkata, SRM University, Andhra Pradesh. She has presented research papers and conducted symposium workshops in many national and international conferences. She has many publications in peer-reviewed and indexed journals and book chapters. Her areas of specialization and research includes educational and organizational psychology, developmental psychology, psychometrics and assessment, research methodology, and statistics in psychology, social psychology. Here I like to share that we have invited Professor Kundu for evaluation of our student performance, and all the students were very much happy. Therefore, I am also proud, and as my beloved student, she did PhD under my guidance. I observed that she is very much expert in qualitative research as well as the quantitative research. He applied different multivariate models in her thesis. So in near future, definitely we learn something more from her. But today, she is very busy person. Therefore, I have requested her to concentrate only one chapter, that is the content analysis. Now over to Professor Kundu.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for this introduction. It is always a pleasure to interact with students, and it is a great pleasure of mine that today I'm going to deliver a lecture on connecting with your organization that you have built up with a purpose, with a goal in a mind to enrich participants from various areas in the field of research and give a researcher insight and researcher bent of mind. I have learned from you that how we should focus and keep our research goals very strategic and outcome oriented. So it would be my pleasure to interact with all the students and participants all over the I think all over the various fraternities from where they are coming. So what sir have already introduced me. So I'm without wasting much time, I'm going to start with the topic. So today I'm going to cover two topics. One is on focus group and the other is content analysis. So I will be dividing my lecture time, discussion time into these two topic areas, which I'm going to cover today. So to start with, I am going to share my screen. Please let me know whether it is visible or not.
Yes, you can share.
Ma'am, it is visible.
Okay. So as I was telling that in line with the qualitative research, I'm going to cover these two topics, focus group interview and the content analysis. Now, since there are participants from many fields, I would like to start from a very basic area, that what do we understand by these concepts of qualitative research. We know from qualitative and quantitative research, we know very broad categorization. I think all of you know that what qualitative research means, what quantitative research means. Quantitative area is something which covers the numerical analysis of our data, of the responses that we are getting in our research. And in qualitative, we basically the nature of the data is basically qualitative, where the numerics are not involved, where the informations are provided in a qualitative form. Now, in qualitative research, when we are going through certain methodologies, there are different types, different aspects of doing the qualitative research. That is, when we are doing the qualitative research, there are many methodological aspects and various arenas of it. And there are many types of analysis as well that we can do in case of qualitative research. One of the basic ones, now these qualitative informations can be collected from anywhere. One of the basic ones that we collect is through conversation, through exchange of informations. An interview is one of the techniques through which this exchange of information happens. Now, to start with the very basic idea of what focus group interview is, firstly, I would like to know from you people, what do you understand about a group? What do you understand about interview? And what do you understand, if any one of you have any idea about what focus group is all about? Firstly, let me know that what do you understand by group? Anyone can raise your hand and let me know that what is group interview. Yes, Kashish.
Ma'am, a group is a number of people coming together for a common goal or purpose. Here it would be to be interviewed by the interviewer.
Yes,
And
very good.
a focus group could be a group of people who have come to answer some questions together as a group on a topic selected by the interviewer. And as far as I know, they're not allowed to interject each other between questions. They're only supposed to answer when they are being asked, and everyone answers the same questions. The questions for everyone is different. The follow-up questions could be different based on their answers, but that is all I know. Thank you.
Okay, very well said, Kashish. Anyone else who want to add their views, viewpoints, or understanding about this term? Okay, so yes, Shumana, I can see one more raised hand. Shumana?
Yes, ma'am. Focus group discussion is a kind of group discussion where the similar kind of people are sit together to discuss or interact on a similar kind of topic, where one moderator will be there and 8 to 10 group people will be there for a discussion on a common topic.
Okay.
It used to have similar kind of background, like a homogeneous group should be there for a better output of the discussion.
Okay. So what both of you have shared, thank you, Shumana, and thank you, Kashish. What both of you have said, I am taking some of the keywords from there. Both of you say that some group of people, like few number of people will be, not many, few number of people, 6 to 8 or let's say 10 to 12 people will be involved in some kind of discussion. When we are saying focus group, I think Shumana have identified that there will be a common goal or common topic which will be discussed. So she talked about focus group discussion. Now, in line with this explanations that both of you have given, can you tell me that what is focus group discussion and what is group discussion? Is there any difference between the group discussion and focus group discussion? Anyone can answer. What is group discussion and what is focus group discussion? Is there any difference between the two?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, in focus group discussion, the group is focused in one particular topic, and they should focus the same, but they have the opportunity to discuss only one specific topic. But in group discussion, there is no specific topic. There are several topics may discuss in the group.
Okay, well, so I have taken these points as well. So now we are getting a very clear idea or a little bit of clarity, not very clear, I would say, a little bit of clarity that what focus group interview is all about. So when we discuss this term, focus group interview, now with examples, the clarity about this concept, which is very much used in qualitative research, it will strengthen. So in qualitative research, this is sometimes referred to as FGI, the initials, the short form of this type of methodology, this type of technique of collection of informations or responses. It is known as focus group interview and it is sometimes known as FGI. So what is a focus group? Focus group is a method in which one or two researchers and several participants meet as a group to discuss a given research topic. So in focus group, there may be one or more than one or two or more than two researchers, not many. Their key role would be in facilitating the participants to discuss about a given research topic, which is the area of interest to the researchers. So the researchers who are involving this focus group discussion between the participants, they have a purpose, they have a research purpose, they have a research area to be explored that is being communicated to the participants. So the extraction of the information happens revolving around that topic of the research. In focus group, there is one researcher that leads the discussion by asking participants to respond to open-ended questions, and a second which records the general themes participants discuss. So generally, when a focus group discussion happens, there is one moderator who moderates the situation. So moderating means facilitating the discussion to happen revolving around that topic, which is the interest point of the researcher. And there will be one assistant moderator or the note taker who take the vibes and the informations which is being conveyed during the group discussion. So there will be one moderator and there will be one note taker who records the general themes the participants are going to discuss in the focus group discussion. A focus group ideally will have 6 to 10 participants. Typically, it ranges around 1 hour in duration. It may go beyond that, but not much. In focus group, since the number of participants are not one, like in face-to-face, one-on-one interview, there is one participant who is being probed for an in-depth extraction of information. In focus group, the number of participants is more than 2. It can range around 6 to 10 participants. So there should be a time limit when we are doing focus group discussions. Obviously, the time frame should exceed to a certain amount so that extraction of responses or information is happening, but it should not go beyond a particular time so that the focus on the topic is lost. So whatever extraction of information is happening, it should have a time frame within a considerable time limit. When a moderator, an assistant moderator, they are involved in this type of focused group discussion, which is happening along with the participants, they have to see that when they are they are giving the questions, they are probing for a certain information to be extracted, how much information or the variety or range of information which is being extracted, whether the information revolving around that topic have been extracted enough or not, what type of questions to be placed so that holistic information about that topic is extracted. And the researchers need to identify also where the saturation point is coming, that after a certain point of time regarding that topic, a saturation point in regards to extraction of information will happen. So the researcher should be very pro in understanding these ideas about the qualitative research when they are going for extraction of that type of information. There are certain pros and cons of focus groups. Advantage of focus groups is that they can elicit a wide range of perspectives from several participants in a short time frame. So in focus groups, the area is very specific, which needs to be extracted, and a wide range of perspectives from several participants are being gathered in a very short time frame. So in qualitative information extraction or in qualitative responses, the main challenge that which happens that whether the biasness is there in part of the respondents or not. So if we are doing this kind of group interviews, focus group interviews, a variety, rather than taking opinion from one individual, it is always good to take opinion or their views or viewpoints from a variety of individuals, which will help in understanding regarding the various perspectives. One person may view about a certain thing in one line, other person may have different viewpoints about it. So the focus group, advantage of focus group information extraction or focus group discussion is that there are several participants who are involved in such type of discussion forum, and within a short time frame we are getting a considerable amount of information which is being extracted from the participants. The qualitative information we are getting, which is in depth, in detail, but within a short time frame. Also, it allows participants to form new perspectives or insights from the interplay with other focus group members. Focus groups are not appropriate for highly personal or socially contentious issues. So researchers should keep this thing in mind, that when they are involving participants for some kind of discussion, the information that they are trying to extract from the respondents, it should not violate certain rules of the research, certain sensitive information, where let's say if I take example of religious opinions, there are different participants belonging to different religious communities, and if a researcher is provoking something which creates a difference of opinion in terms of religious opinions, then it may lead to negative consequences. So researchers should be very cautious and should maintain the ethical norms of the research when they are involving participants in the focus group in discussion forums, so that it is not leading to any negative consequences or it is violating the rule of the research, the ethics of the research. So focus groups are not appropriate for any personal or socially contentious issues. Before you begin the focus group, you must obtain informed consent from all the participants. This is an ethical consideration that we need to maintain for any kind of human subjects experiments or research, survey research or experimental research. We need to take informed consents from the participants before we are going to take the information from them. All the ethical aspects of doing the research should be maintained. Explaining purpose of the study, organization sponsoring the research, how the data will be used. So the two things which are very much important when we are doing any kind of research, and it is true for the focus group discussion as well. Informed consent should be taken from each of the participants who are involved in that group discussion, and each and every participant should be debriefed about what is being researched, what is the purpose, and explaining the purpose of the study, how different organizations are involved, what are the goals, what area is trying to be explored. So these needs to be clarified and debriefed before the discussion starts, before the extraction of information through the form of discussion starts. While impossible to ensure complete confidentiality, any information collected should be anonymous. This is also one of the important point in ethical consideration. Though in case of focus group in the discussion, there is the full anonymity cannot be restored because participants are involved in an open forum discussion and they know each other, that how they are giving opinions about a certain topic. So complete confidentiality cannot be kept in case of focus group discussion. However, it can be done that the participants are told that whatever discussion is happening, it remains their identity remains enclosed within this focus group only, and it will not be disclosed anywhere else. So their personal IDs or their personal names or email IDs or whatever numbers, etc. It should not be disclosed anywhere. It should not be. It should not be. I would rather say that the name of the participant should not be taken in the while taking the responses from the researchers. They should be given some IDs, personal IDs. So their identifiers should be their personal identifiers, and the extraction of information should happen like maintaining all these ethical considerations while we are doing the research. All mobile devices should be turned off if you are not recording the interview in the mobile devices, and if you are going to record the interviews in case of focus group also, it should be debriefed to the participants. It should not be that the participants do not know that their informations are being recorded. So whatever measures, methods you are going to take as a researcher, it should be totally debriefed, and it should be explained to the participants before you are involving them to the focus group interview discussion. Developing good focus group question. Well, there are certain notions through which we can develop good questions. In case of qualitative research, it is a main focal point, because how you are framing the guiding questions, it will the responses will depend upon that. So since qualitative research solely depends upon this extraction of information, how you're probing and how in responses are revealing the informations. The nature of the essence of qualitative research solely depends upon the responses, the verbal responses or the contents. So the for for good research to happen, we need to understand that we should have we should develop the skills uh, for framing the questions in case of qualitative research, how it should be in line with your research topic. You have to have a very sound idea about this area. So the key to conducting successful qualitative research with useful data is development of good questions. Questions should be open-ended, semi-structured, and should not lead the participant. So it should not be the question should not be like it is binary kind of yes, no questions. Let's say you have involved a group of youths and you want to see that how their political opinions are. So you want to see the political opinions, their political ideologies. You're going to explore on that. So uh, when you're doing that focus group interview, you should keep in mind that you will be having certain guiding questions, which is guiding the participant in revealing information, but not giving the participant any lead towards certain opinions. So your questions will not reveal the opinion of yours. Your question will only guide them to reveal their opinion, reveal the opinion from their part. So while a research protocol will have a set of focus group or interview questions, there should be room for flexibility depending on responses of the participants. So when you do certain interview, when you are involved in, as a researcher, when you're involved in the interview process, the one thing that you have to keep in mind that you're framing in semi-structured interview, in focus group, we do the semi-structured interview where we have a specified topic on which we are going to talk about, and we have certain certain points to be covered which are acting as the guiding questions, but it should not be like that there is no flexibility given to the participant. If the participant is willing to share something, reveal information which is going beyond your question, as a researcher, you should always invite those type of responses, because those are the areas where you will be getting information which you may not have thought about as a researcher. So a research protocol is to keep certain guiding question, but also keep the provision for flexibility in part of the participants. Developing good focus group questions, it should sound conversational. So when as a moderator of the focus group, the first thing that you should keep in mind that you're giving a good vibes to the participants. You're making the ambience very interactive or conversational. Your throw of questions or your choice of questions in line with the topic that you're going to research about, it should show a very conversational one. So your choice of questions should be such that it is invoking certain kind of responses within the participants. So the question should sound conversational. It is leading to certain answers. It should not be very structured, very binary kind of questions. Do you have this preference for this political party? Do you think that this political party is not doing a good job? So these are the very structured and binary type of questions. You will get a yes and no answer, and it will not reveal such the extent of information that you are looking for. So your throw of question should be more open-ended and it should sound conversational. Engaging the participants, engaging the respondents in towards the focus group interview. It should use uses words participants would use. It should be clear and easy to understand. And also in focus group, you should keep in mind that your group is a focal one because of certain research topic that you have chosen. You have the focal group you have chosen for a purpose. So your objective for choosing that focal group should not get lost. So it should be very short to the point questions which is revolving around that particular area of research that you're going to explore, and in line with the participants who are involved in that kind of discussion. The questions should be one-dimensional. Scale of your question should engage, explore, and also have a proper exit point. So your focus group discussions, as I said, when you're seeing that after extraction of certain amount of information on that area, the information which you are getting at the end is repetitive. The saturation of information extraction have happened. When you're getting repetitive information, you should have a certain exit point for the focus group discussion to end. So developing a good focus group questions, we have to keep all these things in mind. When you are developing a focus group, what things you should prepare for? First and foremost, as a researcher, that you should be well prepared for is the area of research, the research material. You should have a sound knowledge on the topic that you are going to explore. Until and unless you do not know the various aspects of the topic that you are going to explore, you will not be able to choose the appropriate question that should be placed before the participants. So, know the research material well. Review the informed consent documents. Be familiar with the questions being asked, the purpose behind them, and be prepared to answer questions about the study. Practice moderating a focus group with fellow researchers, friends, and family. So this is what you can do. As a researcher, we are always a novice at a certain point of time. We do not know every intricacies of research when we are going to begin the research. But thing is that you have to be well prepared when you have certain goal in your mind. So when you see that your modality of research or your method of research is such that it should invoke a range of information from the participants, you should be very keen on playing the role of the moderator. So you can practice as a moderator that with a fellow groups, with a fellow colleagues, a group of research colleagues. You can practice that how you can facilitate question, how you can invoke response from certain questions. This will help you in honing your research skills, specifically qualitative ones. How to build rapport in focus group? Firstly, the rapport establishment is the primary step in case of gathering responses from the participants, be it quantitative or qualitative research. We should have a good rapport with the participants who are going to participate in your research. So having a very pleasant interaction at the first go, it is recommendable. The body language should be relaxed. It should not be very provocative or vindictive or casual. It should be relaxed with calmness, and it should incorporate certain humors, so that an essence of discussion is facilitated. It's if the conversation between the researcher and the participant is very mechanical, then the participants will feel inhibited in sharing their responses. So firstly, you have to build an initial rapport with the participants for getting informations from them. Be patient and do not rush participants as they answer. Be equally respectful of each participant's contributions. If somebody have revealed a whole lot of information, somebody have revealed a very less information, whatever it is, the range of information that you are getting from the participants who are involved in your research study, everyone's contribution matters. So you should be equally respectful to all the participants who have participated in your study. Ensure participants treat one another with respect. So when you are doing the focus group discussion, you should ensure that after doing the discussion, the participants would have a good feeling about the area that you are going to explore, without any offensive feelings in their minds. So you should ensure that all these things are kept in mind when you are going to build rapport with the participants for the focus group discussion. Tips for moderating the focus groups. Firstly, lay down the ground rules of focus group before it begins. Invite a wide range of commentary. Try to involve participants as much as possible. If there are some inhibited participants, you should develop the skills for involving the inhibited participants as well. Even in case of discussions, only the verbal content does not matter. The gestures they are providing, the non-verbal communication that is being conveyed, that also matters in case of focus group discussions or any kind of qualitative research. So you have to keep those things in notes as well. So the note taker or the assistant moderator who are taking notes of the field, from the field of the focus group discussion, all these things should be noted down as a researcher. Use silence to your advantage. Not every time if you speak a lot, it will invoke responses. Sometimes you need to understand that you are giving chance to the participants to share, to open up, to be involved in the topic of research which you are trying to explore. Limit your own participation. Limit your own participation, pose a question, and then let participants respond with limited direction or commentary. Encourage maximum participation. Make sure all participants have a chance to respond, asking less vocal participants directly if they would like to contribute. Sometimes you will see, as I was telling, inhibited participants. They do not want to share, they do not want to give their opinions in a very explicit manner. But it does not mean that they do not have an opinion all the time. You should understand that how to make those participants involved in the discussions as well. So those who are less vocal, how to directly address them or involve them or engage them in the discussion. You should hone that skills for getting informations. Now comes this, till now we were discussing about how to do the method, the process of doing discussion. Now, after we gather the information, how do we understand the data? There are many approaches in analyzing the data. Content analysis is one of the analysis which I'm going to cover. There are many other approaches as well, like grounded theory, phenomenological approach, thematic analysis. There are different types of qualitative data analysis. I'm going to cover the content analysis part. Grounded theory used in social sciences. It happens both in qualitative and quantitative research to generate theory from a deep and rigorous analysis from the data. So whatever information is extracted in the form of qualitative data, specifically I'm talking about qualitative data, grounded theory in qualitative data, how we can link that data, that information with the theory to generate a theory. So keeping it grounded with the theoretical aspects. Structured coding will typically begin with a list of codes or keywords and the research questions being asked, and open coding codes generated only as one reads through and analyzes the data. When we get the verbal content, the content, verbal or the written content, which is transcribed, and those pieces of information, how do we analyze those pieces of information is the beauty of the qualitative research. So we can go for coding with that pieces of information. We can understand the underlying themes which is coming out of those pieces of information. A preliminary coding is done. It can be happen like this way. A preliminary coding is done from those pieces of information, and then a specific level code or the focus level coding is done, which is known as the Excel coding. So this is how we involve different techniques for analyzing the qualitative data. Thematic analysis is another type which is used. I think this will be covered in your course area as well. I'm giving a brief idea about the stages. Firstly, when we do thematic analysis, we read the text as a whole. So what you have gathered from the focus group interview, if you're going to do a thematic analysis on that, you will gather the text, the transcribed versions of the interviews, and you will read the text as a whole. After reading, you will mark the text, which are the important areas, whether there are any keywords which is coming out of it, coding the test and grouping the codes to themes, relating themes to literature and theory. So from your content that you are getting, you can come up with certain codes and some initial codes, specific codes or the categories, and relate those codes and categories with the existing theory or existing body of literature. I'll share this PPT to all of you. You can watch this this video on thematic analysis. This is the coding for focus group data. I have given one example that how coding can be done. Like a response like this, that I appreciate how much the instructor encouraged us to voice our opinions and to ask questions in class. As much as possible, he took time to respond to everyone's questions and opinions, to explain concepts, and then to make sure everyone understood his answers. So this part, an initial coding have been done, like encouraging expression of viewpoint. This is an initial coding. Encouraging questions. So viewpoint encouragement is one code. Encouraging question is one code. Responding to questions is one code, which is initial code. From this verbal piece of information, these codes can be derived, these initial codes. And focus coding could be that all these involves the participants to be engaged. So encouraging student participation could be the focus coding. If you know about the factor analysis, you can understand that this is how we do in case of factor analysis as well. We have certain items, we try to form factors out of it. So these are the initial codes of the simplest unit that we are getting from the pieces of information that we are that we have gathered as data. And by clubbing the codes, the initial codes, we come to a focused coding. From this piece of information, you can see that to explain concepts, then to make sure everyone understood, explaining the content area which is being conveyed, check whether that area have been received by the students or not. So presentation of the content could be one underlying code which is coming up from these two initial codes. This helped me because I felt like I was being heard and I became more involved in learning the material. So students' opinions valued, students' learning medium was made more flexible. So initial code was feeling valued, feels involved in own learning, and the focus code was student empowerment. This is how an open coding and axial coding can be done. In case of thematic analysis, we can call this as themes and categories. And in case of content analysis, we can see that we have generated certain codes, the initial ones and then the underlying ones, which is called as the specific coding or the axial coding. We can now, a lot of softwares have developed for analyzing the qualitative content. This qualitative pieces of informations we can get from anywhere. It can be from newspapers, from articles, from web pages, from the verbal piece of content, which have been gathered from the interviews. So all those pieces of informations are the qualitative informations. We can analyze those pieces of information in those qualitative data through softwares as well. So in Vivo platform, we can see that how sources, different ways of collecting that codes or memos through which we can understand that that this is how we can generate different underlying factors which is there within the content. Nowadays, a lot of web-based platforms are there, Facebook, Twitter, where many kind of the social media networks leads to many type of qualitative information and opinion. Those can be used in case of qualitative research, and softwares could be applied for extracting information and deriving underlying components from it. So many contents which are available in the websites as well, those can act as the qualitative informations for it can be used for different focus type of research as well. Since I'm not going into the detail of this type of analysis, our focus is mostly on understanding the theoretical aspects of what focus group discussion is and what content analysis is. So I'll stick to that area. Ensuring rigor through the analysis, the notion of trustworthiness rather than validity and reliability is the main essence of qualitative research. The more you understand your data, listen, read, and read it, this iterative process leads to extraction of information in a correct way. This is the essence in qualitative research. You have to always look for codes, initial codes. We do not. The first thing that we have to keep in mind that only a surface level analysis will not lead to any kind of finding in qualitative research. A deep level of analysis is required. Like we are collecting data in an in-depth manner in qualitative research, the analysis process or the viewing the data also, it should be an in-depth process as well. So you should not freeze your understanding about the content. So freezing of the codes at the initial levels, it should not be done. You should read and reread the text, the materials for getting the essence of what you are trying to explore. That is the beauty of qualitative research. So this is what focus group discussion is all about. If there are any questions, please let me know. Next, I will give a brief idea about the content analysis as well, and I will be sharing the material in the Google Classroom. But before I go to the content analysis part, let me know if there is any queries on the focus group discussion. You can raise your hands and ask. Is there any question?
Yes, students, you have given so many questions, so please. Yes, Madhugiri. Okay.
Ma'am, is there any ideal time limit for the interview?
I have mentioned that in the discussion. It depends upon the topic of the research, firstly, that what you are going to explore, how the range of the extent of information that you're gathering, and also the number of participants that you have involved. Focus group interview should not exceed more than 10 to 12 participants. Now, as I said, as a researcher, you should have the insight that when to have the exit point in the focus group interview discussion. If you're seeing that repetitive informations are coming around your research topic that you are going to explore, then you have to understand that this is the ideal time to set the exit point of the focus group interview. So as I said, it depends upon the topic and the number of participants who are involved in the research. 1 hour is a considerable time. You should keep this in mind that the participants who are discussing about the topic, they are not deviating from the focal area of topic much. So that is what, as a researcher, you should note down and make them relevant with the area, so that the group that you have identified, the focal group that you have identified for your research topic, you should be benefited as a researcher as well. That is the thing that you should keep. I hope I have answered your question.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes, Kashish. Kashish, you have raised your hand.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, my question was, we know that that we are allowed to ask follow-up questions to participants, but are they allowed to express some opinion that goes in line with or against to what other participants have said? Like if there are 5 to 6 participants, and it's like,
of course.
so they're allowed to respond to each other.
No, there should be some. Okay, you are telling that the whether the participants can start discussing among themselves or not.
Yes, ma'am.
That is what your question is?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thing is, as a researcher, as a facilitator of the group discussion, it may happen that the participants are involved in a discussion. That is, it is not one-to-one interaction that you are facilitating, that you have to keep in mind. It is a group discussion. It is a group interview which you are facilitating. So it may happen that participants are talking among themselves regarding a certain topic, but you, as a researcher, what your role would be that whatever they are discussing, it is in the purview of your research topic, or in the purview of your research topic, or the area that you are trying to explore. If they start talking among themselves that how you're doing, how your family is, that is not relevant to your research. So they should be conversing, which is benefiting your area of research that you're. If it is that scenario, you will facilitate that situation. But if they are talking among themselves, which is not which is not a part of the discussion, which is meant to be a part of the discussion, you should have a proper skill to understand how you can limit those kind of things when such focus group interviews happen.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, one more follow-up question. If the participants, say two participants whose opinions are against each other, if they get into a sort of argument that goes into the heated direction, so what should be our role as the moderator there? Should we stop
That
it
is,
or?
yes, that is what I say. As a researcher and a facilitator of the focus group, if you should always keep this, that's why I mentioned this in the slide as well. The focus group have certain disadvantage that certain personal and socially contentious topics cannot be covered in the discussion area. If you are seeing that it is going towards certain heated arguments, you as a researcher and on ethical grounds also, you have to moderate that situation. Deviate from that situation, but keeping the focal, keep yourself and others to the focal point of discussion of your research. Your ideal role would be to minimize that certain negative consequences which is coming out of that discussion.
So, ma'am, we could, like I could go to a different question, and then maybe if some area of that question was left unexplored, we could always go back to that. Could we do that?
Yes, you have to, you find your own ways how you can divert, or how you can divert in the sense, divert from the argument, how you can place the question in a different way so that each of the participants feel valued in terms of revealing the information. So minimize the negative consequences, but still finding out ways how you can extract the information. And also noting down that how the perspectives of the participant emerged when certain questions came up from the discussion.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am.
Yes, I can see two raised hands. Ingwama.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I had a question regarding the interpretation. I'd like to mention.
Can you speak a little bit loud? I cannot hear you properly.
Ma'am, like you said, there are many ways to interpret the data that is received from the focused group interview. So, how do we go about choosing the right method to interpret the data?
There is no right wrong method. Like in quantitative, are you acquainted with the quantitative data analysis process?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Like there are, in quantitative research, what do? It is hypothesis driven, right? We start with the hypothesis and we test the hypothesis. So pertaining to the hypothesis, there are specific techniques for doing that, for analyzing that data. In case of qualitative research also, we have certain responses with us. Now, depending upon our research area, which type of analysis we will be choosing, it's researchers' insight into it, and the topic will, and the topic and the way of conducting the research, it will define. So whether you will choose a content analysis method, whether you are interested in understanding the underlying content from the information that is extracted, or you want to build up a theory out of it, it depends upon your research frame that you have kept in your mind, keeping in mind the topic of your research. So there is no right or wrong. The type of methodology that you're choosing, it should be in line with your research area. If your research area is such that you want to do a theory building, then in that case, it would be grounded theory. If your research area is such that you want to understand the content of the text that you are going to review, then it could be either themes or content analysis that you're doing. If you are seeing that, if you're facilitating the narration of the participants, then a narrative analysis, that how they are involved in the storytelling process. So narrative analysis could be an appropriate method in that. So your research area and your research, there is no particular objective as such in case of qualitative research, because all of them are exploratory in nature. But how you are going to lead your research topic, that is the starting point that you will that will tell that how you are going to choose the appropriate methodology for that research topic that you have chosen. So it totally depends upon what, as a researcher, you are going to do. If it is theory building, you will go for grounded theory. If it is contextual, the content analysis, then you will go for that thematic or content analysis part. If you are seeing the like phenomenological approach, you will do the type of method which is in line with that research topic. So it totally depends upon the research area that you have chosen.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yes, Madhu. Okay, I think then now I can go to the content analysis topic. I have exceeded my time. So, sir, can I take 15 minutes more in?
Yes,
there
sure. You can.
Okay. Can you all see the slide?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So content analysis is a type of analysis that we use in qualitative research. It is now this type of analysis is used in both in case of qualitative, in terms of qualitative aspect and quantitative aspects as well. When we are seeing that we are viewing content analysis in terms of quantitative aspects, we see the content, analyze the content in a systematic procedure, in a numerical procedure. Let's say in a text, we are seeing that how the word frequency is. In a certain text, we are seeing that how different types of words have certain frequencies, whether there is any repetitive connotation in the text information that we are going and that we are going to review, or that we are going to analyze. So if there is any systematic numerical procedure that we are following in case of content analysis, it would be quantitative. And if you are generating information qualitatively, then it would be a qualitative content analysis. I have articles I have downloaded some articles for all of you, for articles, papers, which specifically identifies that what is quantitative content analysis and qualitative content analysis. I will share those articles to all of you. Today, I'm going to give a brief idea about what content analysis is. So the objectives of this discussion is defining content analysis, when to use it, what are the steps involved in that content analysis, and what are the importance of content analysis when we are doing the major coding categories, how we understand the validity of that type of research method that we are, research analysis method that we are using, and how data is analyzed in content analysis research, advantages, disadvantages of that. So to be very precise, content analysis means analysis of the contents of communication. The contents can be present in any form: textbooks, newspapers, essays, magazine, articles, songs, political speeches. What sir, I think sir have done content analysis in some of the songs which and song excerpts or the poems from given by great poet Rabindranath Tagore. So these are the type of analysis that we do, and we can take materials, the text from any medium. And contents can be taken from the images as well. So technique that allows us to study human behavior indirectly through analyzing the communications. Any type of information which is communicated in any of the form, when we analyze those contents, it is known as the content analysis. The use can be vast and extensive. It can be used in educational research. It can be used in understanding the research problem inside. And the reasons for using it is obtain a descriptive information, analyze observable and interview data, test the hypothesis, and check other research findings. So as I said, content analysis can be used in both perspectives, quantitative terms and qualitative terms. Qualitative terms will help us in understand the underlying structure of the content. And in terms of quantity, if we want to use content analysis in terms of quantitative terms, we are systematically analyzing the content in a text or any of the medium to understand its usage, and also to build certain testable hypotheses, testable assumptions as well. For example, counting the number of times that words dog, pickup truck, and broken heart occur in a number of one country songs for the past year. So if we want to understand that what are the different types of content in different songs, classic songs or pop songs, let's say you have taken one particular word or content and you see that how many times this word have been used in a particular song. So you're analyzing the content in that perspective. Identify student activities on homecoming weekend using Facebook. So different ways we can apply this content analysis in understanding the qualitative data, the verbal data, I would say, not qualitative data, or verbal textual data. Verbal and non-verbal textual data. There are steps for content analysis. Firstly, we have to develop a rationale that why we are analyzing the content. Define important terms. Determine the method of sampling. What text, what informations that we are going to analyze. Determine the unit of analysis. Formulate the coding categories and analyze the data, and conclude and report on that. The importance of categorization is all studies must be converted into codes. So the two codes which are important ones, open coding and Excel coding that we call. Open coding is to firstly to generate by reading or by viewing the communication content, what is emerging out of it. So researcher determines, is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
So researcher determines categories before analysis begins. Researcher becomes familiar with the descriptive information collected and allows the categories to emerge as analysis continues. Coding categories could be manifested ones. Like if we are seeing, let's say in country songs or in let's say Hindi Bollywood songs, we want to see how many times the word, a specific word, like let's say, what should I, Chand, how many times this particular word you are seeing, or you can understand the frequency of word, whether it is less, whether it is high, how frequent it is in case of Hindi Bollywood song, the word Chand. So when you're doing such kind of content analysis, is a manifest one. It refers to a very specific, clear surface contents, which is there, words, pictures, images, that can be easily categorized. When we are doing a latent one, it refers to the meaning underlying what is contained in the communication. Like the one I gave example in case of focus group interview, when in case of thematic analysis, initial codes and some specific codes which were given from the textual content. The initial codes came up as encouragement, encouraging the students in participation, encouraging the students in questioning. So these are the initial codes, and student participation was the axial code or the specific code. So understanding the latent content from the texts or from the communication content that we are analyzing, that is the latent ones. And sometimes coding categories can involve both manifest and the latent ones. Commonly checked by comparing the results of two independent scorers. In case of quantitative content analysis, we can do this intercoder reliability. If we are taking two experts from the same field and see that by analyzing the text, how they have coded, and the commonality or similarity between the codes which have been conceptualized by the experts, it is the intercoder reliability that we are checking. Validity, commonly checked by comparing data obtained from the manifest content to that obtained from the latent content. So what is manifested? Whether it is matching with the latent content or not, that is how we can check for validity. Though it is, to some extent, we can say that it is subjective ones, but the more we get into the detail and time we are giving for analyzing the text, it will lead to a proper information. So not all qualitative information we can say that it is subjective. It have biases. Qualitative pieces of information, from qualitative pieces of information also we can get certain commonalities. So that's why there is a in today's research scenario, there is a huge acceptance for mixed method research. Mixed method involves both qualitative and quantitative, and integration of qualitative and quantitative is happening. Only quantitative analysis narrows down our scope of the research constructs that we are going to explore. Qualitative helps us in broadening the scope. So when we are integrating both, in terms of methodology and the analysis process, it helps in giving a holistic picture of the area of research that you are going to do. Data analysis may involve the frequency of the content, proportion of a specific occurrence to a total occurrences, the themes which is coming out of the content, and the computer analysis, the softwares which are used for qualitative research, like NVivo, Atlas T. These are used for analyzing the contextual of the text materials or the contents. There are advantages and disadvantages for any type of research method. So content analysis is not free from that. It have advantages like it is unobtrusive, it is not artificial in nature, it is not very mechanical in nature, and it is easy to gather information, such information. Contents are available everywhere. So from those contents, we can make out some, like we can reveal reveal or explore informations from those contents. So it is easily available. Disadvantages is limited to analysis of communications, have uh, which may have different perspectives, and it is difficult to establish validity. So this is where I would limit my discussion because I have already exceeded my time. I'm showing some articles, a brief, showing some PDFs, and I will be sharing that as well. Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, this is one qualitative content analysis paper, which I will be sharing with you. There are 3 approaches of doing that: summative, directive, and conventional. By reading the paper, you can understand there are 3 approaches for doing content analysis. This is a material which will help you understand the basics of content analysis. What are the uses? What are the types? So this is a basic reading material, which I will be forwarding to all of you. And use of computers in qualitative research. This article is helpful, though it is a very it is not a very current article. The use of computer in qualitative research is well known, and it is around 10 to 15 years back, but you can get an idea that how amalgamation of technology is there in case of qualitative research as well. Not only so, use of software or technology is not only there in the quantitative research, it was long back it started in case of qualitative research also. And in nowadays, you will see a lot of advancement is happening in this field of study. As I said, mixed method is an integration of both types of research, not only in terms of collecting data, it is also in terms of methodology, integration of methodology, integration of the analysis process. So there are different types of techniques which are used that we understand we are through different deep learning models, we understand the nature of the verbal content or textual content which is present, and we can analyze huge qualitative information by using those models. This is one paper which is specified, it is on specified area of organizational level, workplace industrial psychology, where mindfulness based intervention have been used in case of workplace social capital. So here the authors have applied the qualitative content analysis. By reading this article, you can understand that how content analysis can be done in case of applied research. And last one is this: designing and conducting focus group interviews. This is a very helpful PDF where you will get the intricacies of focus group interviewing, how the number of participants, what is the ideal number of participants, what the environment should be, what are the role of the moderator, in terms of the one who is facilitating the discussion and the one who is taking notes, and how to analyze and report the contents that you have gathered from the participants. So this is what I am going to share with you all as study materials. I hope I have contributed a limited piece of information in terms of, I hope all of you are benefited a little in understanding what content analysis is all about and what focus group interview is. So here is where I end my discussion. If there are any queries, you can ask me. Or you can communicate it to sir and sir will convey it to me. If you have any later on, questions may come up in your mind. You can post in the Google Classroom as well, or communicate to sir and sir will convey it to me. This could be the mode of communication between us. Okay, Madhu have raised her hand.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am,
Yes.
is there any like issue of seeking permission to do content analysis of a content which is being developed by another person?
Yes.
How do we seek like permission, or is it necessary to seek permission, or we can just conduct it?
What type of content you are talking about?
If you mentioned that there are content analysis being done on several social media platforms, the content is there, which is there, or songs, or the literature that are being available.
For getting specified type of informations, even for getting access to certain accounts as well, you should maintain certain ethics. As a researcher, what I want to say is that it is up to the researchers and that how you're maintaining the ethics of the research. Contents are readily available all over the every platforms. Like, let's say if you're going to take data from the Amazon reviews, you want to analyze the data from the web pages. It is readily available all over the website platforms. But how you're making use of certain things, in the researcher's end, you have to maintain those code of conduct as a researcher. So if you are going to review about a certain content which have which the access towards it is limited, access to the privacy content of it is it is established. So in that case, you have to take permission from the content provider. But those reviews are something which are openly available. If you want to find out something from the review patterns or the opinions of the post, you can anytime do that. But thing is that when you are going to do, you at researcher's end, being a researcher, you have to always keep in mind that you are maintaining that code of conduct of the research, the ethics of the research. Because ethics is not something which is pertaining to only the data collection process. It pertains to every step of the research, while you are formulating the problem, while you are fixing the methodology for your problem, when you are taking the data, when you are analyzing the data, when you are reporting the data. So in every step of research, you have to maintain that ethics. It is not like only in the data collection process. Now, in each level, it is not possible for everybody to keep an eye on you. as a researcher, it should be your moral grounds that how you are sticking to that code of conduct or the ethical part of the research. So if you're reviewing the contents which are readily available to you, you can do that, but you always have to see that you are maintaining the ethics of the research. You are not going beyond that. I think I have
Thank you so
answered
much,
your
ma'am.
question.
Yes, ma'am.
And I hope sir will be guiding you on this as well, because any day sir is more knowledgeable than me in this regards.
No, please don't say.
Sir, ma'am, would you mind, please, if you share a content and please analyze the content, then it is more useful for us. Please, ma'am.
Content in the sense?
Actually, if you have some content and you analyze the content, it is useful for me, or useful. It is the example. Have you any?
Okay, Anurupa, in your PhD, you have innovated the concept, innovative to self-efficacy. At that time, you have started the content analysis. So you can share that one. So possibly Debjani is asking that one.
Okay, you want a format for how? Okay, I'm going to share this PPT, and as sir is saying, I can share some of the part of my research. You can get an idea from there, because thing is that you have to, when you're doing the research, if you're keen on doing research, you have to learn the process of doing it. So just reading that, and if anybody else is doing it for you, then you will not be the researcher. So the thing is that once you learn about it, you have to practice. So after learning, you practice how to do that. The small contents you're taking from everywhere, or for example, let's say you're reading a text, a storybook, and you're understanding the content from that and understanding the underlying themes which is coming out of it. That is how you can start practicing with that. The formats that you're asking about, it will give you an idea, but actually for doing content analysis, you have to do it on your own. Study material I will be posting in the, Farah have asked for study material. I will be posting in the Google Classroom in the study material.
Oh, that's nice.
Okay, I think I have answered the questions.
Thank you, Anurupa. Actually, your time was, as you requested me, from 8 to 9. But
I have overshooted.
Yeah, I understand. But you like our students, for that reason it takes few more time. But I think everybody is happy because you have covered the most important aspects, not only the theoretical aspect, but also the advantage, disadvantage. And finally, you have given some of the published research articles, and you have clarified the students' question. Now I am requesting Shara, please you give the vote of thanks.
Yes, sir. Anurupa ma'am, this has been a wonderful session, especially learning such an important concept for qualitative research. It definitely is one of the foundational methods which we can consider, and you have explained it so beautifully. I'm pretty sure our students have understood the entire content very well, and the questions that were raised, you have dealt with them very insightfully. And I'm really thankful that you've addressed such a amazing topic in such a beautiful way. Thank you so much, and looking forward to more sessions with you in many coming courses. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, sir.
So I'm requesting all of you, please take one snap with Professor Kundu. Please you open your video so that Farah can take one photo. Just hello, students. Shara, please you motivate students to open the video. So we can jointly take one photo with Madam.
Students, please turn on your video so that we can take a quick screenshot.
Shara, please you take one screenshot.
Yes, sir. I'm just waiting for the students to turn their cameras on. Mona Lisa, Naveen, Sumanna, Reena, and Debjani, and the rest, please turn on your camera. That's fine. We'll have a quick screenshot. Sir, the thing is, I have a limited capacity over here because I'm logged in from my tab.
No problem.
So I can see only 6 people at a time on the tab. Will it be fine if you take a screenshot?
Shara, have you taken?
Yes, sir, I'm taking, sir. Let others turn on their camera. Naveen, Sumana, Reena, Kashish, Babita, please turn on your camera. We will publish this in our newsletter. It is very important for us.
Yes, correct. Thank you for reminding. We have our newsletter. We generally publish the paper. Kashish, Naveen, Shumana. Thank you, Rina. Ito Kashish open. Thank you. Naveen, Babita, Shumana. Oh, possibly they are not. Okay. Shumana, Naveen, Babita. Okay, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Professor Kundu. Thank you, everybody.
Sir, 1 second, sir, 1 second. Students, please say just a smile, okay? Okay, give me a good smile, okay? We are going to publish this picture. Okay. Yeah. Ingavama, Sumana, Naveen, please. Devjani ma'am, please turn on your camera. Yeah. Ingavama, are you there? Hello.
No, possibly some has the difficulty to open.
Okay. I'm taking a shot. Smile, please. Smile. Smile. Good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you all. I'm leaving the platform.
Yeah, thank you. So, dear students, please, you do not leave. Okay. You do not leave. Still, we have that time. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Farah.
Thank you, sir.
Content analysis and the focus group discussion. In the focus group discussion, I like to share some of my experience so that you can understand that is what are the difficulties I have observed. Once upon a time, I did research on the self-concept of agricultural farmers. Okay. And I conducted one training on workshop. I requested the agricultural officer of the government of West Bengal to organize one focus group discussion so that I can explore, that is, their self-concept, self-efficacy in farming. When I asked them several questions, I have asked them, that is, what is your impression? I carefully observed that the discussion goes to different direction, not to the farming activities. So then I asked them, how many times you are visiting your cultivable land? So they at that time told me, sir, we are not visiting our cultivable land. Then I asked agricultural officer, sir, I have requested you to arrange the farmers. The agricultural officer, he told me, they are farmers. But can you tell me where lies the problem? They are not visiting their cultivable lands. They are not cultivating their lands itself, but they are farmers. Can you tell me? I think you have no idea about the farming activities, right?
Sir, why, if they are farmers, they are not seen in their cultivating land?
No, they
How
are
is
not
it possible?
going. They are not going to their cultivable land regularly. They are not planting anything.
So how they could find the problem? How they find the issues
Correct.
regarding the cultivating?
So that is the major problem. Therefore, when you want to conduct any focus group discussion, you must be very much sure that the discussion outcome should come from the people, okay, who are basically the sufferers. I think you have no idea. Still, at that time, I had no idea. So, but still, since I have the idea now, okay, the farmers, there are three types of farmers. One farmer, they have the land. Okay. Another farmer, they are called sharecropper. Basically, the sharecroppers, they are engaged in farming. And another group, that is the marginal farmers. Sometimes they are sharecroppers and sometimes they are not sharecroppers. They are moving. Today, they are working in Bakura, and after 1 or 2 months, they are working in Hooghly, or after 3 months, they will work in Jalpaiguri. So they are the marginal farmers. Is it clear to all of you, or any question? So
Yes,
with whom I conducted program, they own the land. They are not sharecroppers. They are not the marginal farmers. The sharecroppers, they have the clear knowledge about farming. Therefore, when you want to conduct the focus group, you have to give special attention to the people who will join your program. And if it is NGO sponsored, I conducted several programs in NGO through the NGOs. Okay. Then again, you have to tell, that is, I am interested to meet the people for this purpose, then the concerned authority may guide you. Otherwise, you will be misdirected and your whole money, energy, everything will be spoiled. Is it clear or any question? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, another issue. I think one has asked this question, maybe Madhugiri, yes. She has asked this question about the, no, I think Ingwama, Naki Shumana. Okay. Somebody asked one question about if there is any conflict, then how do you handle? This is a very vital question. And Professor Kundu has told you that is, you have to moderate. Okay. This is a vital question. Brainstorming is very, very important. Therefore, you have to design the focus group in such a manner so that that group will be homogeneous in nature. For example, I conducted focus group in Midnapur district on the attitude of the students towards the school infrastructure. Therefore, I conducted program in Midnapur with 5 focus groups. One focus group is the student. Second focus group with the parents. Third group focus group is the teachers. Fourth group focus group was the staffs, and fifth was the police officers. Okay. Now, what I did not, there was no interaction between the student and police, student and guardian, guardian and teacher, etc. So all the units, they were homogeneous in nature. Therefore, another important part, that is all the participants in focus group, they will feel that you are for them. You are here for them. Okay. This is the most important part in focus group. If you tell them that is, I am here for collection of
Sir,
the
please
data.
unmute. Sir, please unmute.
Huh? What happened? So, if you tell them that is, okay, I am here for collection of the data, for that reason I am organizing the program, you may not get good data. Okay. You have to discuss the issue. Another important part, that is the ethical consideration, privacy. You have to maintain the privacy. Because individual person is not concerned with you. The important part is the outcome. Yes, Kashish. What is your question?
Yes, sir. I originally asked the question, and to what you said, my follow-up question would be: even if we are taking homogeneous groups, for example, like you said, a group of students and then parents and then teachers. So imagine if the students have opposing views, okay, and students, as we know, they're younger, so they're more prone to, talk back and maybe give someone a personal insult or something in between. So what should be our response to that?
Yeah, very good question. I requested headmaster to provide me some of the good students who can speak properly, who can describe the situation properly. Okay. And I have tested the reliability of the students through the teachers, through the staffs, through the guardians. Police officers are not able, but I find, and of course, my observation. Your observation is very, very important. Okay. Your observation, because this is a very good question, Kashish. I organized one program in Sonarpur in South Calcutta. I organized program with the self-help group. I want to find out what are their problems. Why the self-help group people, they are not properly working. So suddenly, I get this information that recently they are making the plans about the distribution of what I say, the toilet to the government. Then I am interested to see the toilet. And naturally, the panchayat people, administration, they are thinking, sir, you are asking me for the toilet to visit the toilet. Yes, I am interested. And finally, I have visited the toilet. And what I have seen, the toilet is not used for the toilet. Toilet is used for the storeroom. So what government has given to the people for the purpose of toilet, that is not used as the toilet. Rather, it is used for the storeroom. What is the underlying reason? That I have explained. Yes, Shara, you like to say something?
No, sir. In between, we were losing your voice. That is the reason I just wanted to tell you ki we missed out some parts while you were discussing the topic.
God, which topic I forget?
No, when you it just took a few seconds ka span. It was on track again. That is fine.
Okay. Thank you. So this focus group is very important. And the third one, the focus group, very much risky also. Because not only the focus group, if you want to do the research, specifically in social science, you have to handle different type of conflicting issues. Therefore, you must be very, very careful. You have to take a lot of the risk. I conducted program, this focus group. I conducted focus group in Manipur, okay, during the insurgency period. I conducted focus group discussion in Tripura during insurgency period. To understand why there is the gap between literacy and the per capita income. What is the underlying reason? Okay, so only one question. only one question. What is the underlying reason for the research, for the gap between literacy and the income, per capita income? So this is the theme. Okay, I am not considering any topic. I am considering only the one question. So this is the most important part in focus group. Now I am coming to the content analysis. In the content analysis, yes, you can use the content because many contents are public content. For example, web page. Several web pages are there. So you can do the analysis and you can get some frequency distribution. For example, web content analysis. For example, you are interested about the AI. Mona Lisa is here. Yeah. So Mona Lisa is here. Mona Lisa is interested in AI, artificial intelligence. Okay. So when maximum researches have been started on AI, and what are the topics about AI? That is the content. Is it clear? This is very easy. So you can do that content type analysis. It is called the web content analysis.
Sir, I have a question, sir.
Yes, Devjani.
Sir, if I arrange a focus group for the 6 depression patients and that they have the same issues, underlying that, and they have tell or they have to speak up about their issues individually, and now I can get one content of each patient, then I can can I analyze the content of each patient?
Okay, two approaches are there. One is the, if you want to give some counseling to that patient, so there will be no problem. But if you want to take into consideration what factors are contributing for depression, okay,
yeah,
that you can elicit. But for that reason, you have to observe other cases also. And based upon that, then you can think about the model. And that is the content analysis. At that time, it will be content analysis. Okay. So in the clinical setting, your patient can tell you many things. You have to check whether it is reliable, it is valid or not. That is number one. And number two, and since your patient is telling something and you have noted that it is reliable and valid, and your patient wants your support, therefore there will be no problem. You can give the suggestion, whatever comes to your mind. That is the individual level. You can give at the group level, maybe in the school setting, there is no problem. But in content analysis, you must be very much clear about your research question. For example, Professor Kundu told you my research on Ravindra Sangit. I have applied content analysis in this manner because there are many compositions by Tagore, and I want to explore, that is, only the songs where I can find out the word work. Hello, is it clear to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Only work. And when I studied work, at that time I find that is Rabindranath Tagore, he sometimes used work as the work, just occupational work, and sometimes work is used in spirituality. Okay. Sometimes he used work as a prem, bhalobasha, love. So what is important? The total population is the Gita. Okay. That is available. Gita is the total population. And my sample is work related song. And again, there is some inclusion and the exclusion criteria. Exclusion criteria is work which is related to love, which is related to nature, which is related to spirituality. I have to avoid them. Okay, so that is the exclusion criteria. Then I have observed the inclusion very clearly. That is, work is related to only the work. Okay. Now, in this manner, I collected several songs and then I tried to find out, that is, what is there in that songs. Suddenly, I have observed that there are two things. One is the path orientation, another one is the goal orientation. And finally, I discovered 14 path-oriented Rabindric values and 14 goal-oriented Rabindric values. Okay, so that is the content analysis. And next, I converted into the quantitative. I tested its reliability, tested its validity, and finally, many research papers have already been published. I presented the paper in international conferences in abroad. I presented this paper in Malaysia, I think so. Just now I cannot remember all those things, but okay, I have presented. And some of my students have received award. Okay. One student, Juhi, yes, she received award on Rabindric values. So there are different techniques, different methodologies you can apply, and you can enjoy the focus group as well as the content analysis. If you have any problem, definitely you can ask me, otherwise it will go to the Shara. Yes, Kashish, again you have the question. Thank you, Kashish. Ask
Sir,
me.
no questions this time. I just wanted to ask you if you could share some of your work with us related to these topics.
Yeah, I have already given.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
It is in Google Classroom.
Sir, I have a question.
Yes.
Actually, sir, you have told the content. Actually, I am applied some Rabindra Sangeet, one Rabindra Sangeet in our patient in the clinical setting. They have the different analysis, different ideas. They have shared the different ideas about the same song. That is Aguner Poroshmoni. When I have told how you explain, then they have someone says that there are some fire. Some of the patient, they all are patient. Some of the patient have seen that there is a lighting in their mind, and they have the different analysis, the same song.
Very good
What
observation.
Yes.
Good observation. Good observation. That is okay. Because it is Rabindra Sangeet. And when you play this Rabindra Sangeet, at that time several mental images are coming to your mind.
Yes, yes.
And based upon that mental images, you can make some image entanglement. That is the quantum consciousness. We have published some of the research papers on quantum consciousness based upon the Rabindra Sangeet. And if you are interested, you will get our newsletter from Farah, and Farah can tell you. And I have received the award about the quantum consciousness from Indian Academy of Health Psychology and INSPA conference also. That is a quantum consciousness model.
The same piece of song gives
same piece of song will be treated
yes.
differently. That is
yes,
true.
Yes, yes,
Very naturally, because there is no linearity.
Yes.
The quantum consciousness model says that is there is no linearity. Okay, so it is a non-linear object. So if you are interested, it is a very higher level of knowledge. This is not the platform for discussion of the quantum consciousness, but I have developed this concept, quantum consciousness model in health psychology, in educational psychology. But that is a different issue.
Okay.
It is very much related to the quantum physics, the theories of Einstein, theories of Max Planck, and Rabindranath Tagore's song.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So, Shara, I think there is no question.
Yes, sir. Students, do you have any more questions? Or should we close the session for today? So I don't think there are more questions.
Okay. Okay, good night, everybody. Please close your hands for the prayer. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, sir.
Please give your feedback.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, to the form that will be provided by Shara. And please you give, revise your research question and you send it so that we can work